Ime Udoka, Chip England, Will Hardy, Jeff Van Gundy, every day in that coach's room, first in Vegas and then in Japan, was just incredible. The learning environment, the chemistry, the buzz you feel as you're trying to accomplish something together, and then to meet with the players, after your meeting and try to put it all together. It's the ultimate challenge and the ultimate high as a basketball coach to experience it. I could not be any more excited, thrilled about the staff that we've put together. Any one of these guys could be the head coach. Eric Spoelstra, Amani Williams, Mark Few, all so qualified, all have been involved with USA Basketball, and I can't wait to get to work with those three gentlemen and with the other staff members that we'll put together over the next couple of years. Finally, I want to thank the Warriors because I've had one coaching job in the NBA with the Golden State Warriors, and my life has been enhanced beyond belief by coming to the Bay Area and working in this organization with Joe Lacob and Peter Guber and the rest of the ownership group, Bob Myers, all the assistant coaches that I've enjoyed having by my side over the years, and most importantly, the players, Steph, Draymond, Andre, Clay, down the list. Those are the guys who are responsible for me sitting here, because you don't reach this level unless you have success. You don't have success unless you have players. So I want to thank the Warriors and thank all of our players, and that's a good reminder that you got to get some players for us in the next couple of years. Thank you.
We will get some players, indeed. Are there any questions?
Yeah, you kind of just referred to it there, but obviously your post-playing career with TV, with GM, I think you always have talked about wanting to eventually get to coaching, but now you're Team USA coach, you seem very solidified here with the Warriors. Do you just kind of view this as this is just kind of your career moving forward until basically retirement, essentially?
Yeah, I mean, I just, sometimes I think back on my career and I just sort of wonder how it all happened. Grant and I first really got connected in Phoenix when I was GM and he was a player. And, to think back at all the opportunities I've been given and that I've received, it's sort of remarkable. It's, and as I mentioned, it really is a matter of being very fortunate with the people around me. I think back to the coaches who I've played for, Coach Olson at Arizona, and also with USA Basketball in 1986. And, all of my NBA coaches, Cotton Fitzsimmons and Lenny Wilkins, Craig Popovich, Phil Jackson. I've just sort of continued to find this path where I've had amazing people around me who have guided me, and somehow the path continues. And I'm not going to stop and think about it too much because I'll wonder how it happened. But it's happened. I'm here. I love every second of every day preparing to coach basketball. It's a dream job, and doesn't get much better than being the coach of the USA basketball team. So I'm thrilled.
Steve, a couple quick ones. First off, you've accomplished so much in your career already. What was it like getting the call that you were the guy for this job?
Well, it was a surprise, to be honest with you, even though we spent the whole summer together in Tokyo, and Grant was with us in Las Vegas. But Sean Ford, getting to know Sean over the last few years, it was just a wonderful experience to be part of USA Basketball. But you just don't stop and think, oh, maybe I'll be the head coach. It's not something you even dream about. So you don't even afford yourself that time and say, I wonder if you just put your head down, you work. So when this call came, it was gave me chills. It's opportunity of a lifetime, and I can't wait to work with all these guys.
And the second one is, we asked Steph about it last week, and he said Steve knows he wants to get lot can obviously happen between now and then. So how confident are you that he'll be with you for this stretch?
You're talking about with Team USA. We'll see. You know, these things are very fluid. I've learned a lot over the last couple of years working with Pop and Sean and Jerry. You just sort of have to let things unfold because every player's circumstances change constantly. And if Steph is healthy and wants to play, I'm pretty sure I could convince Grant and Sean to put him on the roster. But
I thought you had a scoop or something.
yeah, it would be wonderful. But you just never know how this thing is going to play out, and so a lot of time between now and then.
Steve, how quick did this all come together from when you got the call and the job offer to you accepting, to you helping put together your coaching staff?
Well, I think maybe I'll let Grant answer that because it's there's a process that has to happen with this hiring, and so there's a few hurdles to get over. I don't know how much you want to share, but there's been a process that has led to this point. But as I said, from coaching over the last few summers with Team USA to now, it's something that I knew if it were an opportunity that came up, I would be very interested.
Yeah, and I'll just chime in. The great thing, talking with Steve, gauging his level of interest, getting to a point where I felt he was the right guy, the right person who's uniquely qualified for this role and this responsibility. And, obviously USA Basketball has a number of stakeholders. And so making sure that that is discussed and everyone's on board, which thankfully happened. So that took some time to get to this point. But no, Steve was my number one choice. And thankfully there were some great options out there, as Steve alluded to, in both the college and the NBA ranks. But I think because of a unique set of experiences, I think his basketball acumen, I'm not going to go down the list of reasons we all know, Steve was the guy, and we had to go through the process, which I won't bore you with what that is, but ultimately we got to this point where we are now. We're very thrilled.
You've built relationships with Pop through him being your coach as a player and then also being on the USA coaching staff together. So what coaching tendencies have you observed from him both as a player and then as one of his assistant coaches that you hope to implement both here with the Warriors and then also Team USA?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Pop has been my mentor for many years. I consider all of my coaches who I've had in the NBA and college and coaches I've had on this staff to have been instrumental in my growth as a coach. I mean, I started coaching at a very late stage, 49. I was 49 when I took this job. So I had a lot to learn, but Pop, given that he's been coaching during that entire span, he's really been my mentor. So, having played for him for 4 seasons and then picked his brain over the last 7 or 8 years and then the opportunity to work with him, I've learned so much, not just about the game, but about people, about culture. And so a lot of what we do here in Golden State is based on what I learned from Pop. But the one thing he taught me that really all my coaches shared with me is you have to be yourself. You can't try to be somebody else. You have to be yourself. And I think that was the best advice I could have heard from the beginning. As long as you're authentic and genuine, now you can implement things that you've learned along the way. And certainly the things that I learned with Team USA over the last few years, which I think is crucial, given that it's such a different environment. It's a 6-week sprint, as I said. I learned so much about the FIBA game, about how we need to approach things. Those experiences with Pop and the entire staff will be huge for me going forward.
Steve, you just alluded a couple times to the 6-week sprint. How different is coaching Team USA, coaching international basketball, than what you do all the time with the Warriors? What different skill set and approach do you need in this new job?
Well, number one, the game is very different. The FIBA game is different from the NBA. 40 minutes, very different rules, different vibe to the game. It almost feels like an NCAA tournament game rather than an NBA game. There's this idea that you've got to figure out your rotations pretty quickly, and your roster for that matter. And you've got to do everything on the fly with the staff. It really is a collaborative effort, which is what makes it so much fun. The NBA, you have anywhere from 7 to 9 months for your team to develop, and you can slowly add things here or there. You can't do that in 6 weeks, so you've got to be really clear and concise about what you're teaching and why, and you got to get right to it. And ultimately, it's the talent and ability of the players that either gets it done or not. But it's our job as coaches to put those guys in the very best position to succeed, and I look forward to that.
You've spoken out a bunch over the last several years on topics you're passionate about. It's obviously such a unsettled time in the country. I was just hoping you could give your perspective on wearing the USA, repping from that perspective nationally, and kind of what that means.
Yeah, I could not be more proud to represent my country. As a basketball coach, this is sort of my one opportunity to really represent my country in a very public way. And I know all of the players and staff feel that way. We had an enormous sense of pride in Tokyo this past summer in that representation under Coach Pop and under Jerry Colangelo, and in collaboration with the players. We want to go out and do everything with class. We want to do everything we can to make sure that people in this country are really proud of our efforts, proud of the way we carry ourselves, and proud of the way we represent our country.
Great, I think that's it here in person. This is Craig Miller with USA Basketball. We'll go to our Zoom call and pick up some questions there. Joe, why don't we start with you first?
Great, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Hey, hi Steve, hi Grant, I'm gonna work in the athletic. Congratulations everybody. Both of you know this and have heard it over the last couple of years for sure, that maybe the main thing about USA Basketball and the challenges it faces has to do with roster continuity. Just getting the guys that you want on the team to commit and build the familiarity and all that. And so have you two discussed this, and what is your plan to address the idea of getting a multiple year commitment out of the A-list stars to play for Team USA?
Yeah, I'll jump in. Thank you, Joe. I think, Steve and I, and collectively along with Sean Ford and the USA Basketball staff, we have an opportunity now moving forward to sort of analyze what's worked, maybe figure out where we can refresh some things and maybe try or apply things differently. I think the landscape has changed significantly. I also want to say this past year was incredibly challenging and difficult, and the ability to adapt and adjust, I think we all are embodying that in all of our walks of lives in terms of how to continue forward in the environment that we're in. But we have a chance to really look and dive into some of those things, and Steve and I have talked not just about the roster and how that looks, or the continuity from the World Cup to the Olympic Games, but other issues or other concerns. And so we've had some of those preliminary discussions already, but I think we look forward to really diving in further and examining, okay, where can we be better, or what can we maybe do differently here? what have we learned in recent years, over the course of the last decade? Steve has a pretty significant real job right now, and so we're respectful and mindful of that. But I look forward to personally having these type of discussions and conversations and working together to move forward with USA Basketball and the men's team.
And then, okay, then my other one I had for Steve, and I apologize if you addressed this, but as you know, both Pop and before him, Coach K talked about just sort of the pressure that they felt to win a gold. And I know the Olympics are 2 years away, and we haven't qualified for them yet. But do you think you'll feel that, or how do you feel now that you have this job? Do you feel that weight that Greg had and Mike before him?
For sure. I mean, I think part of the reason that Coach K and Greg Popovich are Hall of Fame coaches is because they've enjoyed the challenge. They've enjoyed the pressure. That's part of it. I think when we choose this profession at this level, we understand exactly what we're getting into. But with a great challenge comes great reward and satisfaction. And this is really probably a lot harder than people realize, especially given the growth of the game globally, how many good players there are out there, how many strong teams there are out there. But this is something that I embrace. Will I feel the pressure? Absolutely. We all will. But that's kind of the point. It's competition, and we all love to compete. That's why we do this.
Thank you.
Okay, next we'll go to Theo Lawson, who's with the Spokesman Review. Theo,
Jack Never for the Spokesman Review. Can you just talk about your relationship with Mark Few and why you wanted to add him to the staff and what you think he can bring to USA basketball?
Theo, was that for me or for Grant?
For you, yeah. Thank you.
So I've known Mark over the years, always admired him from afar, but really got to know him this past summer when he helped coach the select team with Eric Spoelstra. And we really hit it off. And I think the whole room, frankly, the whole coach's room was blown away by Mark's insight, his perspective. I think it's wonderful to have a college coach as part of the process because the college game is different, just like the FIBA game is different. Jay Wright was amazing. Both Jay and Mark really offered insight that maybe NBA coaches hadn't thought of because the games are so different. So Mark and I really hit it off. I think he hit it off with all of the coaches. He is absolutely a no-brainer, one of the great coaches at any level of basketball in our country, and he's going to be amazing to work with.
next up we'll go to Tim Reynolds with the Associated Press.
Thank you, Craig. Hi, Grant. My question's for Steve. Steve, first off, congratulations, as others have said, of course. I remember seeing you in the mix zone coming off the court after France, and everyone was exhausted. I mean, like you said, it's a 6-week sprint, and it's hard to sprint for 6 weeks, and you guys went through an awful lot in those 6 weeks. I guess my question is, can you kind of take us through the process of after the Olympics, what the decompression was like, when the sense of accomplishment kicked in? Did you get a chance to celebrate it, to breathe it all before you had to jump back, like Grant said, your real job? Just what was, I guess, when it hit you, what you guys had done, what it meant? Thank you.
Yeah, I think there was about a month before training camp started, and I had grand plans to go to Las Vegas for Summer League, and then come up to the Bay for summer workouts. And when I got back, I realized I'm not doing anything for about 3 weeks, and I stayed in San Diego, which is my off-season home, and just completely checked out. And it was much needed because it is a sprint, and it is exhausting and exhilarating, and you need to come down from all of that. I think the great thing is there's a bond for life with every guy on the team, every guy on the staff. You know, we played the Celtics the other night, and just sharing a moment with Jason Tatum after the game was wonderful. We played Phoenix a couple of weeks ago, and visiting with Devin Booker after the game was amazing. And so, these relationships that you develop quickly, but powerfully, they last forever. And those are the reasons to coach, frankly. The experiences and the relationships, that's what it's all about. So, yes, it's exhausting and exhilarating, and yes, you do need time to come back down, but wouldn't trade it for the world.
Thank you.
Okay, we got time for a couple more questions. It is a game day here, and I want to be respectful of Coach Kerr's time. Let's go with Phil Jones, please.
Hey, Coach, how you doing? And congratulations.
Thank you.
Quick question. Well, this actually would go for both you and Grant. With the way COVID has been popping up rapidly lately, you guys have some of the qualifying games coming up in February. What are some steps where you guys look to take to make sure this team that you have set up and stays intact without dealing with anybody, stepping out or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great question. USA basketball, and Steve can speak to this, having gone through this 6-week sprint this past summer. But the safety measures and precautions that the staff and Sean Ford, Jim Tooley went through this past summer were absolutely incredible. And I had an opportunity to be there for just a week in Las Vegas as the men's national team was preparing to go off to Tokyo. And the safety, the well-being of all the players, the coaches, the staff, is of the utmost importance. I think we all know that this COVID environment that we're in is very fluid. We're all experiencing it in the NBA and all professional sports, but I know we'll be diligent. I know we'll be careful and think of the long-term health and wellness of all those that are involved in the qualifying rounds, the upcoming ones. So a lot can and will happen between now and then, but I can assure you that our medical team is certainly on it and doing all we can and following all the best practices and certainly doing what we can to protect everyone.
Okay. My last question is, this goes to Coach Kerr. How much influence has Steph Curry been on the game so far?
That's a very broad and open-ended question. I'll tell you a quick story. We were in Boston the other night, and before the game there was a game with 10-year-olds being played on the main court, and it was on our screen as we came in for our pregame, our pregame scout. We walk in, the game's on, all the guys are watching it, all the coaches are watching it, and about 7 straight possessions, these 10-year-old kids launched 3-pointers. And I turned to Steph and I said, Steph, this is all your fault. And all you have to do is look at all the young players coming up, whether they're 10 years old or 21 or 19 coming into the NBA for the first time. Everybody wants to launch from 3. So he's changed the game probably forever. Beyond that, though, for me, just the way Steph carries himself, the way he is so coachable, just sets a tone here for the Warriors. He's the face of our franchise, and I'm incredibly blessed to coach him.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll finish up. Christos, it's good to see you again. We'll finish up with you.
Hello, Coach Kerr, congratulations first of all. You coached
you played with one dynasty, Chicago Bulls, you won championships as a coach. Now, how big for you is to win a gold medal as a head coach of the Team USA? What it means about your legacy as a coach, as a person as well?
Well, I appreciate the question, Christos. I think the biggest thing as a coach is you don't think about any of that stuff. You just kind of do your job, and you do it because you like it. And I love my job. I've loved coaching since the first day, 8 years ago. And when an opportunity like this comes along, you don't stop and say, well, I wonder what my legacy will be. You just say, oh, man, I can't wait to dive in with the players and the coaches, and you go for it. And when all the dust settles, you just you keep going forward, and hopefully we will put together a great team and a great effort, and we'll see how we do. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, Steve. Thank you, everyone. And to commemorate this special occasion as our new USA Basketball men's national team head coach, we have this jersey to present to Steve Kerr.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Good, one more time.
Do one with Sean and one with Mike, right after that. And then maybe.
Just to give us a.
Fellas, good, looking over here, 1, 2, and 3. Gentlemen?
Thanks, guys. Will I be able to find a photo for Sean? The other way around?
Yeah. One more with Brandon and Mike.
Whole crew?
Yep.
No, yes.
Let's see if we just flip it around on the back. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, you know.
No way, you found it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What was that?
Wow. Look at that. You got me to take a picture. Okay. He signed for minimum, but I signed for
Tour of Chase. Those of you that want to hang out and take a tour of Chase, we will do that for about 15 minutes or less.
Yeah.
Hello, see you folks tonight.
I want to say hi to the USA PR guy, so.
Got in 2 hours of Christmas shopping and then we're all done. 2
You don't have to do that when you're a good team, right? You don't get to do that when you're a good team. And whoever wants to pick Jabari Smith, they're not giving up that pick, right? Because their team sucks and they have no talent, so they need to pick Jabari Smith, and they're not giving that up.
I'll go walk that way, Nick. Make a call.
Thanks, Steve.
No, I appreciate it. I was going to say this is
someone else than Bill Jackson.
Good to see you. Yeah. How you doing? I am kind of, I was gonna retire at the end of December, and now it's end of February, so that we can get through some of that, help transition. Yeah. Thank you, thanks, yeah, oh, no, appreciate all the support, you know. Yeah, we'll see, that's part of the delay, they're trying to fill the role and see what happens. Yeah. Okay, thanks, I'll be there tonight. I'm gonna be tonight in the game. Check it out. Thank you, thanks, good seeing you.
Yeah. Okay. Walk with me outside. Walk outside. So if you have any questions or comments, you can go ahead and ask them. If you don't, that's fine too. We'll take a walk outside and end it. Oh, here's what's up next. Here at Chase Center, they always have this TV right here.
Rick, did you forget your water?
Yeah.
I left it right here.
Say hi to Deb Nation.
Okay. I'm back.
Hello, overtime, our hard-working personnel.
We'll be getting Thursday, Kevin.
Colder here than Boston. Who would have thought? I don't know why either. Literally, as of 2 days ago, 3 days ago, colder here than Boston. Definitely colder than New York. Cool. A little recording of the question about Steph. Right here, it's done. So I can upload that. Where's Clay? Check the comments. Check the comments here. Okay. Last one was where are you going? Alright. What's up, Aaron? Aaron on the live chat. How many rings does Steve have total? Dun, dun, dun. 8. 8 of them. 5 as a player, 3 with the Warriors. Alright, I'm gonna go now. Oh, get some work done. Here, go there. Where's Stephen? He's somewhere in this building. Oh, it's just some dude on the scooter with the music. Little nutcrackers right there. These very artistic globes. Oh, this is probably waiting for an Uber. These are the globes of the males. Fantastic. That's Whitley Sandretto. You're on live with Dub Nation all over the world.
Hello. How are
you just waiting for an Uber?
Yeah, I am.
Cool. Well, enjoy your break.
Thank
We'll see you back later.
See you in a few hours.
Giving them a tour. She's not normally here as a picture like this.
What?
You're not one of, you're not a statue.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, you're not always here. Oh, there's your Uber. Take care. Christmas tree. Me. Me again. Clay over there. That's cute. I don't know if you took the boat today or not. The one thing that sucks is that I can never get Clay's Instagram live streams notifications. I don't know why. It's weird. Maybe he blocked me from in any case, the people on our Discord do a very good job of letting me know when it goes live. So, Puma movie. That's a new one. Not as good as Trust the Bro.
No reason to ask if you're wearing all that.
And then we're gonna sign out. Wow, is that a seal? I just heard a seal. That's pretty cool. There's a seal somewhere nearby. Ooh, Miller and Lux. Very nice restaurant. I don't get paid to say that. I've just seen video pictures of it. Looks nice. Very luxurious. So, you know, I don't often get the chance to give you this tour, so might as well do it now. And I'll show you one last thing. It's like a spaceship. The Starship Enterprise. Okay, signing off. Thanks for joining me. And we will see you maybe post game tonight from Chase.